Okay, we are going to go and take a look and see how do we install MySQL for your Macintosh. So same thing as if you looked at the Windows, same kind of concept, right? So we want to do MySQL developer zone here. So we want to go to community server 80401. So what it's going to do is it's going to kind of give you an auto detect for you what the thing should look like. So for Mac, it's a little bit different than what you've got here. And again, we're going to want the whole thing. And there's a whole bunch of stuff to pick from. What we're looking for is this guy, the DMG archive. We want the full thing because, again, we kind of want to go for it. Now, we'll give you select version, Mac OS versions, but this is the one we want. We want this guy here. We want the DMG archive for Mac OSX 15, right? And that will work. So 804.1, right? 591, and then we'll go download. Again, it will give you this pop-up screen and say, hey, you want to log in? Do you want to make an account? And we'll just say, no thanks, start my download. And then it will do its download thing. You can kind of see it working here. Download in progress. Okay, now once it's good to go, go ahead and click on that link to get it open up. Now what's going to end up happening is you're going to get this, right? So we're going to go ahead and double click on that. And it will do this. Sorry, it's all popping up on my other window. Run a program to determine the software can be installed. Absolutely. So we want to go allow. So reference manual, mysql.com, popular, all the rest of it. A little bit different, right? So it gives you the introduction. And then you want to click on continue. We want to click on continue because of licensing. Agree. We'd like to evacuate. Absolutely. Yeah, sure. Install for all users on this computer. Continue. 64, 67. There you go. Install. So we got to give it its your little password, and then it will write the files and do all the things it needs to do. Then configuration, right? Use a strong password. There you go. We'll do next. And then our password. If you forget this password, you literally need to reinstall it. Also, be careful not to use things like the star or the exclamation mark in it, just because those are special things. And then we have to give it. And then it goes and sets everything up. Initial database. And we should be good to go. So that should be that. So that should be all set. So we're going to move that all to trash so that this cleans up. Right, now what we want to do is we now need to also download MySQL Workbench, right? So we want to go back to Community Downloads, and we want to go to MySQL Workbench. Oh, let's just do this the easy way. I'm going to do this the easy way, right? So MySQL Workbench 8041 Mac OSX. We want the big one. Again, we want this thing to work, so we're not an ARM. I'm an Intel chip. So x86 is if you're on the Intel Mac. If you're on the regular Macintosh, if you're using an ARM, use the ARM version. But I'm on a Mac Intel chip here, so we'll go. Now things just start my download. And then we go here. And it will pop up that little box over here to kind of make your life a little bit easier. Ooh, here we go. And then we're just going to drag that off to my screen so that we've got it handy. And then that's going to just install it on the screen, so it's just kind of pulling around here and doing its bit. And I'm going to minimize this thing here in a minute so you can actually see it. Okay, so that should be good. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to minimize that so you get to see my beautiful backdrop. So here's my workbench that it installed. And then what it will do is it should pop up. Are you sure? Yes. Are you sure you want to open it? Yes. Right. And that should work from there. And it will take a minute. Right. Now here we go. We are in MySQL Workbench. So we're good to go. You want to click on local instance. Right. And we'll have that password. That password you just gave it. And again, if you forgot to write down this password, I would save it just in case, right? And then go OK. So then now we'll open up your whole thing. So here's the process that you've got here. And there we go. So we have objects. So a little bit different, right? If you look at the Windows install or the Windows interface versus the interface you're going to get with MySQL Workbench, a little bit different. In the Windows side, you get schemas down here as a tab. Instead, you get session data, but you get schemas up here so you can kind of see what we've got, right? Now, we want to download MySQL Workbench and everything else. So I'm going to pause this here for a minute and go grab some data. Okay, so we'll come back to this. So inside of the directions you have a link to this My Guitar Shop for SQL. So what's going to end up happening here is you kind of want to be able to do this. Let me see if I can scoot that out of the way. I have no idea what that is. So what we're going to do is we're going to scoot this, right? We're going to go ahead and copy this. Now you can just use the regular, if exists, My Guitar Shop 1, right? So we'll just use this one. So if we're going to copy all this stuff, right, you can go copy the raw file. And then we go back to MySQL Workbench. So we want to make a whole new, you can see I've been working in this before. We want to do Control V. We want to paste all this stuff in so that we've got it handy, right? I just want to scooch this out of the way. Okay, so there we go. So My Guitar Shop is going to create My Guitar Shop 1. To run it, we click the little lightning bolt, right? Execute the whole thing. And what it will do is we'll give you the problem here, and then we're going to have this one error. Because I didn't make any users, I just don't have a user here. You're going to get an error, an SQL file, and all the rest of it. But we should be able to refresh, right? And then we see My Guitar Shop, and then we go into tables, and we should be able to go categories, select rows, right? Just to kind of see what we've got, and then make sure there's data in there. If there's data in there, the install went perfect. So that is the whole thing on how to do this on a Macintosh computer. So let me know if you have any other questions.